Yeah, go ahead.
or something. Anyways, talk to me about like what's going on with the dead people, and are you getting any sleep at night? What's up with that?
Yeah, well, anyway, first of all, to interfere with dead people, it's kind of like you have to tune your field, your frequency, I guess. Um, you have to volunteer for it also. It won't happen if you got fear, and you shouldn't try if you have fear. First of all, you have to understand really, really well what's going on. It's just that some beings are trapped in the lower spiritual fields of reality. They are without bodies, and if you can tune yourself to that vibration, you're able to see some things, but it's not like it's not clear. What I'm the perception of what I'm getting. Yes, I'm seeing energy moving in the air, but it's not clear enough to see. Sometimes you will see the shape of a little bit, like there's a nose and eyes and stuff like that. This will happen usually at night. During the day,
Kind of like that dusk time, right? Isn't that kind of the magic hour? It's like right at dusk and then at 3 a.m., I think, are the two times.
Well, I've only tried a few times. I haven't been playing much with that because I really love to meditate and get my questions answered. And right now, I really, really need to know what's going on with how our system is created, what it is exactly. Because I'm told at the moment that there is so much beyond what we're calling the last third density levels, what we see as the envelope of everything, the body that or the containment of everything. There is much more behind it, and it's like, oh wow, we don't even understand those 15 first densities, and now I'm told that it's just the beginning. It's only a tiny fraction of it. They're limiting the information to this for now because we need to see it. You will see it eventually. I don't know if you can see it. You know how a pine cone is made, almost like the shape of a chicken egg, but every scale of the pine cone is like a universe, but they get really big at the lower levels, and they get smaller. Well, it's the shape. The universe has got that shape, and every of these little compartments, they're all what we could call universes or
bubbles of reality.
Yeah, concept or reality containments, or it's because everything in this system, everything that exists, is created with the same mechanics. We all have a heart chakra with other pulsing energies, other chakras that together will create that field of consciousness. Everything that exists has it. Even what we create.
So I'm going to give you a topic to work on for the next week or so, right? And so kind of work this into your regimen. And it is the role of the divine feminine moving forward. Because we've been given some revelations about some big changes that are going to happen there. And that actually the second coming of Christ is actually the divine feminine coming back, not Christ. So the role of divine feminine.
Well, you're right about that, because we should see the divine feminine as light. Okay, and the masculine energy as darkness. I know it sounds messy,
Polarized, right?
but it's us that are polarized. The reality is not right. It's those group who has polarized us. Dark energy. It's not evil. There's nothing wrong with dark energy. We
There's
have
no
to
such thing as
understand.
evil, really.
The longer we stay away from understanding these things, well, the longer we'll stay dumb.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's the same as white energy. It's black and white, and there's no evil. The evil attachment was created by black magic. It's us humans that created that.
Yeah.
Um, it's not the spiritual reality. It does not relate. There is only love at these levels. So we have to depolarize that evil shit that the Jesuits have created. Well, not just the Jesuits. It's that Masonic cult that created the religions and everything.
Yeah.
That
But anyways,
Masonic
just
cult
just
needs to go, man.
put the divine feminine into your thoughts this week and just see what comes
Yeah,
forward about it. Okay. I
yeah.
feel like that the timing is very important for this, and
But
the week.
I totally agree with you that
Yeah.
I'm gonna write it down.
Okay.
So,
So just the role of the divine feminine moving forward, role of the divine feminine in the new earth, or the transition to it. Just whatever you come up with about the divine feminine is fine with me. I like it. We also believe that's going to have a very large role in taking down the Vatican.
and you see, you're asking me the role of divine feminine, but you realize that we've been working on that for months now.
Right, with hope the whole time. Right, right. And then the other thing would be also on the role of twin flames then, because this is supposed to be a very powerful energy, and they're trying to bring a lot of the twin flames back together now, I guess. So
I've worked a lot on that, and that's not what hope is saying. It's saying that
I was curious about that.
we still have to break and learn our lessons before we get back to twin flames. Our twin flames should be where we go to rest and where our souls connect to. But right now, there's so much work to do, and a twin flame would only bring us comfort, ease, love, to a point where we may relax on the work we need to do.
This is a really good point. That's a really good point. But
And
this is one of those things that I've been hearing a lot about, and I've been hearing conflicting things on it. So that's the only reason I brought that part up.
Mm-hmm. I don't like to contradict what people are saying, but I have to repeat what Hope has been saying to me. It's
Well, that's what I asked you, though.
when I asked to about my twin flame, my own personal twin flame, they feel like, no, please don't go there. It's no, you're gonna slow down again. And
I've been told the same thing about mine, Patrick. Was that this chick is like it's kind of like a twin flame collective or something, and she was like, "Oh, do you want me to like find your twin flame for you?" And I was like, "I don't think that's really what they want, you know, right? Because like I'm pretty sure there's a reason I've been single this whole time, right?" And but I'm like, sure, go ahead, knock yourself out. All I care about is whatever serves the highest good. So if you find something that I'm not doing that would help, sure, let's look at it, right? So she's like, goes into her trance and goes into the twin flame collective, and she's like, oh well, as it turns out, you know, there is one for you, and but you shouldn't go looking for her. And you know, maybe someday she'll come find you. Maybe this life, maybe the next one. Not really sure. And I was like, yeah, that's what I thought. It would just be a distraction for me, and I need that kind of that hunger and that drive and that kind of ego thing.
I couldn't have said it better. It's the same I'm getting from me. So
Yeah, but because it came up in that way, I know that it is a thing for some other people, and there is a very powerful energy behind it, and it's, you know, kind of like winning the lottery. You know, it's not the thing for us, but it would be good for other people. You know, so it doesn't mean it's necessarily bad across the board.
I've lived really strong love before, and it's amazing. It's wow.
Yeah.
But it does slow me down. They're completely right about it. I understand why they're saying that, and we're not here right now to balance ourselves with another body. we wanted to experience singularity, and we need to balance, to come back to full balance, to balance our feminine energy. It doesn't mean to become a transvestite or anything like that. It means that you understand that your body made of feminine and masculine energy. Even if you're a male or a female, it doesn't matter. You need to balance both energy to the same levels to understand it really well. And then on, there are other lessons to be learned, and so on, to ascend and change worlds.
We were told this when we were big into, we're trying to kind of fix our inductions a little bit. And one of the things we were told was that, like I had been making a mistake where I would kind of set the conscious mind to the side, because I heard you say something like that, right? And so I would do that in these things. Oh, let's just ask the rational side of the brain to just get out of the way for now, right? And then when I found out in a session, I was asking Spirit, and they said, well, that thing you're doing was setting that half of the brain aside isn't good, Kel, because what you need balance, right? We want what happens is this. People use their logical side so much that to get balance, you have to bring the creative side way up. And that's all we wanted to do. We didn't want you to diminish that side. We wanted you to bring this side up, right, to get that balance. And I was like, oh, okay. And then they said, and we want you to balance the masculine and feminine in your induction as well when you're doing that for everyone.
And it also has to do with what they're saying about the ego. You know, a lot of people are saying, oh, you have to abandon your ego. And no, it's not about abandoning. We need an ego. We need that system down here, or we're not going to survive. We need to understand it. We need to understand how it works, why we react in certain ways, because when we understand it, we can start controlling it, and we can use it properly once we understand it.
I mean, it is what moves you forward. It's a very important part of your being. I talked to Jesus about this one time, and I say, Jesus, how do I get rid of my ego? How do I overcome it or defeat it or whatever it was I said, right? And he says, so your plan, Kelly, is to achieve wholeness by cutting off one of your arms? What are you talking about, right? You know, like, because we gave you 10 fingers and 10 toes all on purpose, but the ego was an accident. We didn't, that's like, whoops, and we just never went around and fixed it. We're like, just leave it, you know? And I was like, okay, you know, right? Good point, right? You know, it's there, it's a tool. It's every bit part of you as everything else is part of you that we made.
Yeah.
The nose on there, you wouldn't say, why do I get rid of my nose? Because I don't like some of the smells.
You're right. It's totally necessary. You need it to survive.
It's like Electra says, you know, everything is perfect. Everything's perfect, you know. And
except for what some of us are doing.
Right. You know, that's on from a macro level though, but yeah. I had one of my friends was doing a session this week, and she was talking to some Elohim, and they were just giving her these answers that were just kind of like, you know, almost seemed like bullshit to her, right? It's just like, oh, you know, the stock company line type of thing, you know, just like such, I don't know, generic answers, I guess we would say, or something like that. Or if you were the spokesman for God, right, and you were trying to say something that would apply to everyone, whatever it was, she wasn't happy with the answer she was getting from these Elohim, right? She's like, why won't you guys answer me? And they're like, we just answered you. And she says, no. I'm a human. I'm down here on the human plane, and that shit you're slinging don't make no sense, man. It doesn't work down here. I need a concrete path forward is what I'm looking for here. And so these Elohim, who, like, you know, evidently know everything, right? And they come down to, I'm not sure if they went to third density, but they came a lot closer to her anyways. And they were like, oh, ooh, ugh. Like, we're starting to forget everything already. Oh, we got to get out of here, you know? And so they sat there and they answered a few more questions for her that were much better answers when they kind of come down closer to her dimension. But by the same token, they're like, okay, that's all. We got to get out of here. We don't like this at all. And they went back up. And anyways, can't remember why I told you that story, but it's just funny how things are from the higher dimensions as they're trying to relate to these dimensions.
Yeah, I know it's strange that the information it comes different. I don't know. It's again, it's polarization. It's what people believe. Um, we each have our reality bubble, and the information that's in there, well, that's what's needed to express what we need to say. So we use names, the names that we know, and sometimes it just doesn't relate.
I know a girl who's real connected to like people's higher selves and stuff. That's an easy thing for her to connect into. And I was saying to her, I'm like, I'm thinking about doing a mystery school. I'm kind of trying to decide on curriculum and things like this, and what's important and what's not important. And she says, what you need to do is you need to make a class up there in hell for the higher selves to go through, so they can understand the humans a little better. Because I'm running all these higher selves that are like, I keep telling him and telling him and telling him, and he's not getting the message. You know what I mean? Like, he's not understanding, and they're getting frustrated almost, right? And she's like, so it'd be nice if you could somehow get to the higher selves to help them to understand the human experience just a little better. Because they think they understand it from wherever you're looking at it, but they don't always.
That's
an interesting concept.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Does that resonate with you at all? Because I thought, my higher self doesn't understand what its person is going through. But then again, I've heard of people that have had to like fire their higher selves. I've heard of higher selves that have just been an asshole for 1 billion years and just never changed. You know what I mean? Like, there's weird things about higher selves that I would have never thought was possible.
I know.
What do you think about like these faith healers when they get people up on stage and they're like, well, you are healed, you know?
Well, it works to a certain point because it works by belief. Even hypnosis,
right.
If the person doesn't believe in it, it's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not the healers. It's the person healing itself.
Right.
It's the patient that's healing itself by belief, by the belief system, because we create by belief, and we create within our bubble of reality, within that energy, what we call the aura.
There's probably a power that's based on having 10,000 people in the room that are all believing at the same time too, huh?
Oh yeah. Well,
they're all kind of like rooting for you.
Yeah, it becomes a greater power.
Kind of like adds power to you, right? So yeah, in a sense that the faith healer is really just channeling the hopes and dreams of everybody that's in that arena.
You can make it stronger by a collective belief. This is what the Masons are doing, and football games and churches, and they're holding masses under other ceremonies under the stages and concerts and stuff like that. That's the reason they're using that energy of the people in the crowd. People aren't aware of what's happening, but just because they're so much involved in the concert, in the song, or in the game, or in the fight, especially boxing matches, wrestling matches, and stuff like that. Some spiritual people call it looshing energy.
Yeah, sure.
That hanger energy, jealousy, and darker, or I don't like saying dark energy, the bad energy.
Right.
Because darkness is it's part of attraction. It's part of the yin yang. It's not evil. There's nothing wrong with darkness. It's just that it's been polarized this way through religions and just to program humans.
So we talk about the Hermetic wisdom, as above, so below, as within, so without. All things are equal, just different ends of a scale. So love and hate are really the same thing. They're just at opposite ends. Hot and cold are the same thing. They're just at the other end of the thermometer. Light and dark are the same thing, but they're just at the other ends of the spectrum. My favorite example of this is that if you go north for long enough, what direction are you going? Right? If you're on a globe anyways, right? you before you know it, you're going south, right? So north and south, same thing.
See, what the compression, what's creating magnetism, what's building the plane of reality, it's a pulsing energy. So you get the white energy, boom, and you get the dark energy, boom. But because it's pulsing, it's always stable, because it's one energy, then the other one, then the other one, that makes it a flat line, a stable line. But it's the dark energy is below, but they both need each other to create
Yeah, you can't have that
force.
pulsing without the opposing forces, and without that pulsing, then there is never any creation, and there's never any change. There's never any wheel of anything.
That energy is actually attraction, or you can even call it love if you want to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's really cool, man. Really cool concept. Okay, do you have any questions that you want me to ask today on your behalf?
Not really. I know you always get a good direction once you get on it.
I got good shit today. I got really good stuff for today.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't need anything from you. I'm just not telling you about it because I don't want to influence you.
Okay.
All right. Looking good, my brother. Looking good. How do you feel?
Calming down.
Okay. Just take a moment. Just relax.
There's usually two guides that are kind of like right at the gate there, right? But these are different.
Oh, you should see these plants. They're like half animal and half plant.
Oh, wow. I've never seen anything like that.
They're communicating with the gardeners.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. What's that? This
wonder-
is so cool.
I wonder where they're from.
It's on a lot of systems, I think.
Okay. Almost like a sort of a root race that could go somewhere and then spread the energies of plants and animals.
The garden master of some sort is explaining stuff right now. He's saying that those are real plants. This is what they should look like.
Oh, like with legs and arms and things like this and a head.
Yeah, kind of. But the plant should be more alive than what it is in our world, because it's been because of the distortions, I guess, and the such low density.
Yeah.
This is how the plant life turned out.
Very interesting.
But saying that even though that they all seem separated, all plants are connected.
Okay.
That the field, their consciousness field is connected through the whole planet on our system. And it's the same for their system, but most races of plants and trees we can communicate. They can communicate with. That's so cool. There are plants in that garden that can they can't move really fast, but they can change area. They can move around.
Yeah,
they can walk.
Oh wow.
The plant can walk.
Yeah, we saw that one time in Inner Earth where there were some trees that got up and moved because the birds were bugging them and they were trying to sleep. It was a funny session.
He's laughing.
Yeah, I remember this because this bird comes by and it lands on the tree, and the tree is like moves his branch and then walks over a couple of feet and plants himself again. And I said, "You don't like birds?" And the tree was like, "No, just that one. He always wakes me up. He's so loud." But I always wonder how the plants, if they're connected in a unity grid, how do they feel about something like people mowing their lawn or cows grazing, things like this. Giraffes eating the leaves.
He's saying that it's like everything else. It's what's been going on as a purpose, but it's sad. There's so much distortion.
Right.
He doesn't really want to comment on it.
That's fine.
But he's showing that there's so much joy in gardening, and especially when you can communicate with plants. If you give them music, they'll grow. They'll give you
Oh, yeah.
fruits and stuff like that, and you can communicate with them.
So let me ask this, and this is something that really bothers me. People weeding their gardens. You know, they come up and they say this plant is good and that plant is bad. Let's kill all the dandelions when they're very nutritious. They make flowers. They eat. I mean, is there any really need to weed a garden? Do weeds hurt the flowers?
No, he's saying that it's not. We don't understand gardening.
Yeah.
We everything we do it by misconception, by
Right.
false programmings. It's like everything else. It's upside down. We should be thanking the plants. We should be working with them.
Right. And in a sense, if you had weeds and flowers in the same garden and let's say vegetables, then you would actually have a better overall balance in the soil itself, right?
Well, yeah.
There's this cohesive way that they're supposed to be working together, where we keep separating them. We say the lettuce goes over here and the roses go over there and the weeds all just are dead.
Saying this is the reasons why we can't control the parasites, diseases, fungus.
Duh.
We're killing all he's saying that there's so much life that we're not aware of in the ground, in the
Like
soil.
the microbes and stuff like this. Yeah.
And using all the chemicals we use just kills the balance of the soil.
Yeah, the good stuff.
And it's everything we do is completely off balance. It's out of control.
Like the closest we ever do to anything that's right is where they kind of like rotate their crops every now and then. But even at that, it's just such a minor thing. We could be doing so much better, huh?
He's saying that nature should be so luscious, so there should be so fruitful that we shouldn't even have to cultivate. We could be able just to pick, but because of so much abuse, there's just not enough left to pick.
So even with as many people as there are on the planet, we don't really need farms. If there's just enough nature, people could just walk out into their front yard and get their dinner and just eat it there, and go out into an open field somewhere and just pick what they wanted and needed and just eat it.
Well, he's saying that even though that the planet is totally off balance, if nature could take its course back, we could take the fruits from nature to get the seeds and grow on created platforms. We could build buildings where we have levels where just gardening and we could grow stuff just for fruits and.
Wow!
Oh wow! He's showing me
it's brilliant.
A way to. Oh wow! He's showing me many ways to they're using to grow stuff. It looks like a stairway that keeps on moving up and down. There's a lot of ways that work really well. The water starts up the scale and it just keeps going down and there's nothing left at the end.
Right. And it's picking up nutrients from one deck and dropping it down the next deck too.
Yes, and the dead leaves from one type of plant are nourishing the next level, and the birds are helping some plants, and the insects are helping other things. And
so beautiful.
All we need to do is bring the water up, which is something really easy to do.
Right. We could do that for sure.
And he's showing me more ways to do that also. Oh wow. It's sad how we're making things so complicated when it should be so easy.
Because essentially you could, what I'm guessing is that you could actually just ask the earth to move the water up, and she could do it for you if you were in communion properly with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's saying that the whole society or social culture is is programmed and based on abuse. It's just
Right.
we're abusing and we are being abused all the time.
Right. Because what
That's
is
all we do. That's all we do. That's all we are. And because of it, we stay in that on that level, on the lowest level possible.
right? Because
And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
we say it causes so much fear that there's almost no way out for most of us.
Yeah. So, down here in the U.S., we have the what we call it the capitalism, right? And Patrick and I are always talking about the importance of words, and so we talk about capitalism, and it's capitalizing on something. And you have like the capital of a city or a state, and it's like the king, right? The top, and
The
think about
capstone.
exactly.
The capstone.
Exactly. Thank you. The capstone, right? So, I feel like this word cap is not a good word at all, and I'm not liking it right now as we're talking.
He's saying that a real religion does not operate on these systems.
Yeah. Yeah. You got the captain of a ship. Yeah.
It's all related.
Yeah. It's just dawning on me that I never thought about cap before, but I don't like it.
He's saying also it's in relation to slavery. He's talking about his people like they've been slaved. Yeah, they've a lot of his people have been slaves in the past or something like that.
Right.
So he understands what we're going through.
Right.
He's taken this position in the I guess that field of consciousness where he is right now
Hmm.
because he needed to take a break or
From slavery.
just to be in a good place for a while or
Bless you, brother.
to be in a loving reality to feel
Yeah.
real or something.
Yeah.
But he's saying he's coming back.
Well, we'll welcome you with open arms. We'll love to
He's
see you.
saying he's coming back for the big show or something.
Oh, okay. Oh, does he have a name?
Huang Gil? Huang Gil. Huang Gil. Huang Gil.
Kwang Yu?
Huang Gil.
Okay. Well, it was so
Was
nice to meet you.
Saint Huang Gil was his last name,
Mhm.
and he's coming back in reality. He's gonna come back as a baby, as a
Oh,
in your life.
a
Yeah,
human?
yeah.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Okay. If I just wish I had a girlfriend. We could birth you.
He's laughing. Oh wow,
Well,
he's saying he feels really honored.
well, we love you. I love you. You got a really good vibe.
He thanks you and he won't forget your kind words.
Well, we'd love to talk. Anytime you want to talk to us, we're always here for you. Both Patrick and I.
He's telling me that he knows I love gardening. He's telling me that when I meditate, he's
Huh?
gonna be waiting for me.
Oh.
He's gonna keep teaching me about gardening. Thank you.
Oh,
I'm
thank you
so
so
honored.
much.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Oh wow.
We would also like to extend to him the invitation. We have the meditation garden up in the Hall of Remembering. A lot of people go to just be mellow and calm, and he would always be welcome there to share any lessons that he might like to share with people that are there.
He's thanking you, but he says that for the moment, he's 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 guard. He's not just gardening. He's guarding the crystal cities.
Oh, okay. Well, we don't want to take you away from that.
So it's not that he doesn't want to take the invite. It's just that he can't. He can't.
Oh,
He's got a role to play.
we appreciate that. We really appreciate that. That's
He's a
awesome.
he's a beautiful older man. He looks really good, neat, and he's very simple dressed. He's an Asian type of guy. Very respectful. Uh, he's very, very kind. It's an honor to meet you.
Mm, thank you very much. All right, Patrick, do you want to go and
So
go ahead?
I'm gonna head to the castle.
Sounds like a great idea.
There are more. There's another gardener. He's not Asian. He's just waving, saying hello.
All right. I think it's kind of neat that we got to learn a little about gardening today.
I'm going up the stairs. Huh. The guards are dressed differently. They got strange clothing today. I've never seen anything like that.
Is there some type of an occasion, maybe? Somebody's birthday or a celebration or
They're saying it's approaching.
the reason that they're dressed different?
Yeah, they're saying it. Yes, there's something approaching.
Mm-hmm.
It's the reason why there's so much preparation. Preparation.
Uh-huh.
They won't tell me what's approaching.
I mean, why would you need to wear different clothes? That's what we want to know.
He's saying that it's for me to find out.
For me to know and you to find out. Tell him I'm rubber and you're glue, right?
He's saying it's one of the reasons I'm here. So
up at the Crystal City, you mean, or down here on Earth?
Alive now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, good.
He says it's one of the reasons I volunteered to come here.
Right.
And now he's almost pushing me inside. He's opening the door and he wants
Get out.
me to stop asking questions.
Yeah, we'd let you hang out a little while longer, but you got Kelly with you, and we know how he gets. He starts asking and asking. Okay, so do we got Bella Light? Are you with her?
Yes, but doesn't have the shape of a vessel. She's a beautiful, upstanding lady, but she's very tall. She's like 12, 13 feet tall.
Wow.
She's beautiful. That's a silver light, but you can see like bluish, pinkish reflections through the light. It's amazing.
Well,
she's got a beautiful feminine shape, but strong, like larger bone structure, like
right.
Woman.
Yeah, that makes sense.
She doesn't have like a big breast kind of woman, but she's like bigger shoulders and bigger hips. Mm-hmm. But she looks, she looks really good.
You know, I used to always think of it as you could fall down some stairs and not break anything. You know, like you're solid. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
sturdy.
She looks like a beautiful, very strong woman.
That's cool. Well, we'd like to say hi to Bella. I haven't got to talk to her in a while. It's nice to be in her presence again. Feel her wonderful energy.
It's that her energy is like a Taurus changing shape. It's taking shape of a ball.
Oh, wonderful.
By a sphere. It's getting a bit larger.
Let's go ahead and just load up when the time is right, when you feel it's right, and we'll head on up to Hope. But maybe before we do that, let's ask Bella if there's somewhere that she thinks we need to go today or something we need to see.
I am inside and something.
Somebody in there with you?
It's not the shape I usually see inside. It almost looks like the structure almost looks like it's it looks like the room that we go to meet Hope, but it's not. It's just smaller.
Okay.
It's like the shape of some type of geometric shape.
Mhm.
It's pointy, like triangle shapes everywhere, and
Hmm.
the colors are reflected strangely.
Why are you seeing this today, Patrick? It's so different than what we normally see. Is there a reason for it? Is it just coincidence?
Yeah, she's saying it's an effect of doing something to me.
Yeah, it's because you're looking forward to where we're going, and so that it brings shape to that area. I bet. Is that what it is?
There's another being here with me.
Is it Babaqua? Who is it?
No, she's not. She's not saying. He's not. He doesn't. He's. It's a strange shape. It's. He's made of triangular reflections.
Whoa.
It's a living being.
Uh-huh.
It's living consciousness, but it's an unexplainable shape. I've never seen anything like this.
Is the shape kind of ever changing, or is it a static shape? It's just a weird shape.
You can't. There's no way you can describe a shape. It's triangular, inner triangular reflections. It's crazy. It's like millions of triangular mirrors reflecting on each other, but
Patrick, do you smell anything?
yeah,
Okay.
it smells like cotton candy.
Okay. All right, that's fine. All right, so this being, can it talk?
Still in front of me, he's trying to communicate with me.
Go ahead and open up. Relax. Relax. Just allow the communication to come forth.
I can hear it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing what that being is, the sounds it's making,
Mm-hmm.
but it's sounds. It's like musical notes,
Mm-hmm.
and it is a language because it's repetitive and it's almost like Morse code, but it's in musical notes and it's got colors.
Mm-hmm.
It seems really complicated,
Mm-hmm.
and it's reflecting emotions or something because colors are changing.
Mm. That sounds like
And
actually a really good form of communication if you knew it.
yeah, I'm starting to get it. When I'm right, it sounds like boom, really
Right.
loud,
Uh-huh.
or oh, it's how can I explain this? Oh my God, people have to see this.
Maybe you can draw it? Do you think you could draw that?
Impossible.
I had a feeling you might say that.
Even with imaging software, it's crazy.
So let me ask you this, Patrick. Is this being basically a living embodiment of geometry or sacred geometries or math?
Oh, it left.
It left?
It left. Yeah, it just
Uh-huh.
now Bella Light's talking.
Okay.
She's laughing. She's laughing at me.
Because you look confused, right? You're like, who, what, where, why, huh?
She said that this is just one of many, or some of our friends, some of our allies, or something.
Mm-hmm.
We're just gonna meet so many different type of life like this. It's just starting.
Yeah, yeah. So that was just a meeting, huh? Just to say hi?
They came up to say hi because they now can. I
Oh,
don't think they were able to before, but now they can.
okay. Hey, do you remember last time when we got up to Hope, we saw these two beings that were in the room, and they were like, well, we're not really here to talk to you today. You could just kind of see us for a second. I remember one of them's name was kind of like Maga or Maga, something like that. We only saw him for just a moment or two, but I just remember there was these two beings with kind of hard to say names, and it felt like they were making an introduction, very similar to this one.
We're entering the meeting chamber.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask to bring them back, or
Yeah, let's do that. I would like to.
so I guess Bella Light's gonna take shape and sit with us.
Oh, wonderful.
Babaqua's not here today. It's the first time he's not here.
That's interesting. Maybe she's sitting in for him or taking his spot.
Oh, she's saying we're gonna work with different energies today, and
Okay.
there's no need for him or something like that.
Okay. I can't wait till.
Hope's coming in.
Oh, wonderful. Hi, Hope.
She's still really far. She's just coming forward.
Sure.
Short. She's like getting smaller and smaller and
Kind of
coming forward fast. Yeah.
You know, you get to talk to her every day, but I kind of miss her.
A lot of energy. But when I see her like this, it's different. There's just I can feel the heat. I can feel the emotions. It's different. It's like being in a different world.
It's very nice.
Bella Light saying it is being in a different world.
Yeah, it's very different.
Like, what are you talking about? It's not like
That's the whole point, right? So funny. You know, I had this theory that this triangular geometry being, it has to have been some aspect of Patrick in order for it to be sitting inside of Bella Light like that. What do you think about that? Like, it's not just some friend; it's some fractal or something like, you know, kind of how like you and Babaqua are the same thing, and you and Bella Light.
She bowed down a little bit, and she's smiling, and she's saying, "We're starting. Well, not starting. We kind of understand that it is part of my energy consciousness. It's a creation. It's something I created from pure consciousness.
Interesting.
That I gave it consciousness, so she's living consciousness. She does really exist, she's saying.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's saying that even if this body was to give up to if I was to leave to die, she would still go on with her existence.
Bella would?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I gave her, and I created her. Yeah. I created her so that she can exist in the reality that she wants to be for the time that she needs to be, as long as she is good and helping, kind.
Right.
And she's saying that she can exist for eternity, which she cares to.
These types of ships, as I recall, if they don't have like an exact purpose or a person that they're working with, they will typically they pick up lost wanderers, if I recall correctly. That's kind of their thing that they do.
Yes. She's saying also that they are used for many other purposes, and there are some ships that have been created from pure consciousness that are sent, or they've always been attached to what we would consider our future, but it's always been there somehow. It's always been I don't know. It's like it was programmed before it existed, and some of these ships come here to it's like to assure that we're on the right path or something like that.
Okay.
She's also saying that there's something with this world that this reality has something to do with resolution of karma or something.
Mm-hmm. But these ships don't have any karma.
No,
Yeah.
but they're some of them have been programmed, sent here to. They're like messengers.
Right, like from the future you.
Yeah, from kind of from the higher self or something.
Mm-hmm.
No, saying not the higher self. It's higher than that.
Interesting. Yes, because as I recall, these are all tethered to source. That's how they serve natural law so well.
Yeah.
And have such
Yeah.
a high intelligence. Or knowingness, I should say.
She showed me huge discs of light. Oh, well, they're going through. I'm not sure what I'm seeing. There's something wrong with what we're explaining. What NASA's telling us about solar systems. It's wrong. It's
Talk to me.
completely so wrong. It doesn't look like that. The sun doesn't look like what they show us. The planets they look like stars.
Right?
They're living beings. They're not rocks. It doesn't look even the moon.
Isn't
The
the moon a machine? I thought the moon was an artificial construct.
She's saying it was brought here artificially, but it's a being. It's a sentient being. Also, there is consciousness in the moon.
Oh wow. Okay.
It does have a structure. It is a sphere. She's saying something about projection. But, oh my, I cannot repeat that.
Come on.
I cannot repeat that.
Oh, all right.
It'll freak people out.
I'll take it out. You got to tell me.
I think she's saying something about that what we're seeing on the moon is a projection. Some
Yes.
kind of projection.
Yes, because there's this wave that you can see that goes through it every now and then. It will go from one side of the moon to the other, and it's showing you that it is probably kind of a hologram a little bit.
Mm.
And also,
she's leaving like a bit of interrogation, but she's pointing towards that there's a hologram of some kind, or it's almost like a living consciousness that is creating a false perception.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's videos of this out on YouTube, Patrick. You're not saying anything new on that, by the way.
Okay, but
yeah.
Venus is beautiful. It's like a star.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a rock, and it's the same for Mars, but Mars is a different color.
Not red?
The light is the glow is more like a golden glow, but no, it's not red. It's gold.
What shape is Mars?
It's a sphere.
Okay.
But it's not a rock like what we're thought, what we believe.
Right.
It emits energy, just like Mercury, just like. Oh, Saturn is cool. Oh, Saturn is special.
Yeah, because they always tell us Saturn is a gas giant, and it's got the rings on it. And Saturn has that big giant storm that is like the hexagon shape, and it's like way bigger than the Earth. Just a storm that moves around Saturn. Talk to me about
They're
Saturn.
saying that Saturn is it's like the big honcho down here. It's like the energies you don't mess with.
Because it controls the movement of all the other planets, doesn't it? Or holds them into their current places?
It has to do with the dark. Represents the dark energy, but it creates magnetism or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, it magnetizes the plane of reality or something like that. It's part of the mechanics to create our field of consciousness of reality.
And I believe there's kind of a difference between the original, you know, we say we had 12 planets back in the day. So let's just say originally there was the inner 5 planets, and then there was the outer 7 planets. And Saturn is kind of more in control of the outer 7. Is that right? Or do I have that wrong?
The way she's explaining is that they're I can see that I can feel that she doesn't want to shake my beliefs too much, but she's saying that the word planet and ball doesn't fit together, kind of, or
Right.
the reality plane is within those spheres, for all these spheres, and she's showing me rings. So the sun is not the center, Earth is the center. Earth is the heart of the system.
Okay. Why wouldn't people want us to know that? Why would that be taught to us wrong?
To prevent the awakening.
Okay.
She's saying there's so much being done to prevent the awakening at so many levels. Even if she would tell us, it'd just be too much. It'd just be too hard on people.
And it's been going on for hundreds of years, thousands of years, like millions?
Or millions.
Okay, so obviously not Earth-based beings that are doing this then.
Looks really complicated because it first started that at the highest levels, humans wanted to experience disconnection from source, or so it was kind of a game at first. They created a lower plane of reality where we could experience material life, and a lot of complications happen. Hope saying that we can go into details, but it would take a lot of sessions. If we're patient, she'll do it.
Okay.
But she could explain, we could go back, but they don't see time like we do. We cannot put dates on events and stuff like that.
I understand that. Respect that.
But she's saying that we wanted to at first to experience, to create a kind of a suit or a body, a corpse. Okay, we wanted to create corpse that we can integrate and live the best possible experiences, and it went on for a long time, and it was like a paradise, a physical paradise, not a physical, a semi-physical paradise. It was not as bad as it is now. It was not as dense.
Right. We're talking like around the time of like the Anunnaki or the Sumerians, kind of like those kind of.
But some of the controllers have allowed some of the dark energies to cross over somehow into a place or into a field that they were not supposed to, and it contaminated that upper field. And since then, we need to go through many cycles, or we have to wait a certain time before it can all get back to balance. But
Is that karma? Is what you're talking about?
we're getting close. Saying karma is part of the lessons that the original lessons, rules of this universe.
Okay, so it's different then. Okay.
It's different. But
Okay.
we wouldn't fall so deep in karma
Right.
if we were told, if the temples were still active, if we were told the truth, if we knew how it works, we wouldn't fall so low. But we're lied to, we're manipulated, and we like it. We love it, and that's why we keep falling lower and lower and keep being stuck here. And but she's saying the Earth has flipped around. She's going back up, and many of us will wake up anyway. If the others keep ignoring it, well, they'll fall to the dark side, and the rest will go. It's gonna split no matter what. She said. It's
Right,
like they said before. The dam is almost the point of breaking. She's
so
showing me clocks again, many clocks that they're all coming to that midnight.
Yeah, we just call it 2 minutes to midnight, right?
Yeah, you see, the biggest clock is like a few seconds to midnight, and then the smaller ones are like a few hours to midnight, and ours is the lowest one, and it's like a couple of hours to midnight still, but it's on the way there.
Okay. Very interesting.
It's almost like these clocks are in relation to the universal bubble, like the size. There's one over the other one all the time. So the biggest clock is almost there. It's almost the point of flipping to the light.
Right, but it moves slower probably than the smaller ones, I'm going to guess.
Well, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's saying way. But it's almost there, and when that clock hits that time, oh, it's the first. It never flipped like that. Well, it did flip before because it always existed. There's never been a start or an end to this.
Uh-huh.
How can it have been existing eternally? How does it work? She's saying it's a circle. It goes on and on and on in a circle. And it's always been there, so it's eternal. It's always going to be there. Just like our soul body. She's saying it's pure light. We're always going to be there, but we may fall very low.
Okay. By the way, Hope, well, first of all, I didn't get to say, I just wanted to say hi, and I love you, and I miss you, and I don't get to talk to you as often as Patrick, and so I just wanted to say hi.
That was funny. She had like pink cheeks, like she was shy.
It's just so cute, so demure.
She's funny. I'm seeing her more like material today, like materialized.
Oh, how cool! And that's probably why it took her a little longer to come in and get smaller as well, I would bet.
She's almost my size.
Wow.
She's wearing a golden dress.
Very nice.
Very shiny. So like I don't know how to say it in English, but sparkles, like the dress is full of golden sparkles, like. Okay. It's beautiful.
Okay.
It's nice to see her that way.
One of the questions I wanted to ask Hope is, what is the condition of the Earth right now? Because sometimes I hear that the Earth is doing just fine, and other times I hear that the Earth is near death. So what is the condition of Earth? Or Gaia, as we might call her.
She's saying you're both all right. She went to almost dying.
Back in 2012?
Yeah, before that, she's showing 2008. She was almost suffocating or something.
Oh,
choking.
right. Okay.
She almost died or something.
Mhm.
And in 2012, something happened that is helping her uh, flip around or get better.
Mhm.
But she's saying that it's right. She was close to dying. It was close
Okay.
to being all over. But you're also right because it was planned.
Right.
She
Right.
was expecting it.
Okay.
She volunteered for it. It's just that no one expected that would be so hard.
Right. Right. And it wasn't necessarily based on anything that the humans did to her, then per se. It was kind of part of the
That's
plan.
that was unexpected that the humans would fall so low.
Oh, right. That makes
But
sense.
she's saying that there's a lot of control from dark and light. Humans are being kept on the right path. They won't let us mess up.
Oh, good. I'm so glad to hear that.
There's something about resolution. There's something being fixed. We're being kept so tight, and we're being forced through so many trauma and stuff like that, and it was allowed for a reason. Something's going to result out of this. That there's the dark is not expecting that, but something's going to happen because of this.
Yeah, because you learn from polarity, right? That's how you grow and you move forward, is by experiencing um, that type of stuff. So sometimes something. Go ahead.
She's saying they're going to start pushing on depolarizing, and people have to understand the mechanics of the universe, the truth.
Mm-hmm.
What Jesus, what Christ consciousness really means. We're all Jesus, but we have to get there. We're all Jesus.
Yeah,
We have to balance our energy and become healers. And
right. That's why there won't ever actually be like a quote unquote second coming of Christ, like people think. Some people think.
it's coming, but there'll be more than
Right.
one this time.
Okay. And we've heard that this has a lot to do with the divine
Again,
feminine.
they're showing me many people, Buddha,
Right.
Jesus,
Right.
but they're showing me not people. They're showing me images of books and stuff like that,
Right.
meaning that it's all the same.
Right. Because we're talking about as time moves forward, more and more people are going to be able to embody the Christ consciousness.
Yes, exactly. They're yes.
Okay. Okay.
They're all like yes.
Well, that'd be a great place when everybody does it. You know, that'd be really, really nice.
It sure seems up here like a lot of people or a lot of beings are not impatient, but they're really hoping that it comes soon.
Well, we're right there with you guys. We're
There's a
right
lot
there
of
with you.
excitement, that
And we've been doing a thing called grid working, where you're kind of restoring vortexes and ley lines and things of this nature on the Earth, bringing light back to them, I guess we would say. Is that having any type of an effect on the planet? We used to think that was helping the planet. Now I've been told this just helps the people. What does the grid working do?
they're both they're all speaking together.
That was a pretty broad question. Sorry, guys.
Hope saying that it does help by belief, but it's nothing like if we physically do it. Because I guess you haven't been out doing it physically.
Yeah. Oh, I can't. afford to go everywhere in the world.
No, but she's saying that we can go around where we live and do it physically. But we have to know what we're doing.
How do I learn that?
Yeah, she's saying there are mechanics to the world, that the water should go a certain way, the tourists go again.
Because
She's
we have
showing
friends all
me,
around the world, you know what I mean? They would all be happy to help with this if I just know what to do.
I've just saw images of Earth where all the continents are on the same um, side of the planet. They're all on the north. How do you call it?
Hemisphere?
Hemisphere. Yeah, yeah. There is something under, but there's other continents. It's like there's a counterpart to our world, and it's under this one. It looks like it's the exact same thing, but it's on the flip side. But the Earth's not completely round, but it's crazy.
How does this apply to things like Agartha and Shambhala and Telos and some of these places that we consider to be inner Earth cities? Is that what you're showing Patrick right now, or is it something different?
They're explaining like the inner Earth, that the Agartha thing is they have a strange reaction to the word, but the inner Earth that we're thinking about is dimensional consciousness. It doesn't look like it's physical like we think.
Right, that makes sense.
It looks like it's a place you can go in dreams or something like that.
Yeah.
She's saying kind of, but it's more than that. It's not just a place that you can go in dreams. But it's not physical like we think.
Because the Sumerians are down there. They're in Shambhala at least, and they seem to be able to live forever. So that must have something to do with it then.
They're saying that there are codes of every people in relation to these. They're also spheres of consciousness. They also work on the same mechanics. They're inner spheres of consciousness. There are worlds like us at different density, I guess, but inner worlds, inner realities. It's really hard to explain or to conceptualize what I'm seeing. It feels like Gartha is a reality dimension within another reality.
Right, because there's so many layers to the Earth, and so essentially they could be living topside, not inside, but just be in a different dimension, and we just wouldn't be able to see them and interact with them like we can interact with each other.
She's explaining that Earth has offered free space. It's like space where there's no time or something like that, to withhold consciousness of everything that ever existed on Earth for the purpose of saving everything, I guess, or DNA or something like that.
Right, because so many of the inner Earth residents, in their mind, they used to live up top, and then they kind of fled inside for various reasons. To save themselves or to save information.
They created these lower realities to escape the fall to escape the experience that was coming. They did not want to be part of it.
Right.
They were afraid that what is happening would happen,
Right. Yeah.
and they will stay away as long as they are. They're not 100% sure that the fall is over, that we're back to being what we're supposed to be.
Right. Just like we hear about the dragons and the fairies and the elves and the mythical creatures in the mythical realms.
She's
And
saying that the doors, there's like tunnels or bridges to get to access these bubbles, these realities, and they are shut from the inside of those realities because they don't want to fall the way humans have fallen.
right.
And the only thing that can go through the mechanism that blocks, that guards these portals or tunnels, is something of very high density. It's the only thing that can go through. So only very high density beings can enter these levels of consciousness.
That's
So
really cool.
they cannot get infected or
Oh.
distorted or destroyed, or nothing like is happening up here can happen. Oh, but she's saying like, wait though, but this is why there's so much monitoring about humanity, because they cannot fall. They also depend on us. These bubble of consciousness depend on our reality. If we destroy the planet, the space that is held by Earth will no longer be held, or something like that.
Oh.
So they really need us to stop this.
Okay. So they're once again they're on the group of people that are really feeling a little impatient and hoping this will happen soon.
Oh, they're really, really impatient.
Yeah.
They need. It's like they created their own containment paradise or containment consciousness, but they cannot stay there eternally. They need to get out of there for some reason.
Well, the thing is that it's anchored to our reality. If we mess up our reality, they don't have the trust and faith that we're going to get it right. You know, like so often we talk to these type of beings, and they will say, "Will you guys keep your promises this time?" We're always wondering what that means, but there's like, "Keep your promise this time." So, but they're relying on us in some way, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Oof. She's showing you many of these bubbles of consciousness are waiting for us, and relying on us.
Yeah. The other ones I think of are like there's a bunch of red-haired giants that are in stasis that we stumbled across one time. I believe
She's saying there's so many races and people and beings, type of beings that we can't even imagine, and some things that we can't even conceptualize, just like that being that came into the ship earlier.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking about.
They're saying that there's just so much life that is just all around us waiting for us to get out of this.
Yeah, all hiding out, waiting for us to do all the heavy lifting and the work. Thanks, guys.
Oh, she said if they could interfere, if
Oh, okay. Good.
there's something happening. She's not. It's always the same when it comes to these questions. We have to go through it all the way or something. They're not telling me why. We're not allowed to know why, but we have to go through the whole program somehow, because we said we would, or something. We're not just helping ourselves.
Right.
We're helping the darkness heal something, or heal something. It's just that there's been so much karma or something, and we're gonna be the ones helping with this healing the karma or something.
Yeah, because what
And
happened is the darkness got trapped on Earth and felt betrayed, and that's why it became not so nice, I guess we'll say. And so that's what we're helping to heal, is that feeling of betrayal that the darkness got through karma. Am I understanding that right?
there's a huge being he's in the room. It's like black. It's got blue, two eyes. It's like blue, dark blue lights. It's a black, tall being. It feels really cold, and it's asking if it can join.
Well, of course.
And
Doesn't
hope
scare you at all, does it?
hope is kind of not putting down conditions, but she's communicating something with the being. She's limiting its access,
Mm-hmm.
that she's allowing it.
Okay. How interesting.
It's going to answer some of our questions if we want to understand the side of darkness.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful. Okay, so he appeared. I'm sure this being probably heard my last question, but
He's
the
saying
question.
we got 5 to 10 minutes max. We don't have
Okay.
much time. We got to ask questions as much as we can, because I cannot hold.
Right.
And he's right. I'm freezing.
Okay. All right. So we're going to ask for a little warmth to be brought to Patrick, and the main question we want to know is, we had a promise that we were going to help heal the dark. What are we going to heal the dark from, and how are we going to heal it?
He's saying that the darkness, our conception of darkness is completely wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We have to separate darkness from evil or bad.
Okay. How is it different than evil and bad?
He says that it's just energy, and darkness is good energy, and it's not evil. It's humans that have created attachment, because the human body attaches a lot of mystery to darkness, and because the human eyes do not function at night, we associate dark energy to the night.
Mm-hmm.
And because of very, very far in past history and programming, he's saying mostly, he's showing me early humans being attacked by big cats, hyenas.
Mm-hmm.
Even, I don't know, it looks like some type of a bear.
Mm-hmm.
He's showing me, oh boy. I guess there's been many predators that humans feared at night, and we'd associate darkness.
Yeah. Or lived in caves, right?
So see, darkness can be real good.
How?
Well, when you hide in a cave, when you hide in darkness, these predators some predators will not see you.
Okay, good point. Also, when it's very hot, you can be in the shade.
He says that without darkness, you cannot see light.
Okay.
He says that's why we can differentiate light from emptiness or nothingness or something like that. It's because of darkness. If there were no dark energy, there would be no light.
Because there'd be no contrast.
Yeah, it's not just that, it's the effect it creates. Without the dark energy, the effect cannot exist.
Interesting.
It's just plain, some type of a plain consciousness with no effect or something like that.
So let me ask you this. If there's nothing wrong with darkness and it's not evil in any way, and there's nothing to worry about when it comes to the darkness, then how come when you come here, hope has to limit you in some way?
He says because he does not belong.
Okay.
Cannot affect this higher reality. He's been invited.
Is there a name that we might know you by? Go ahead, Patrick.
But he's saying, yes, there is. You can see it if you want to as a war between. And he's saying we can see it as a war, we can see it as a dance, or we can see it as love between light and darkness. It's up to us.
Right. That makes sense.
See, the war would be represented evil, the dance neutrality, and love represents the higher light or higher consciousness. So, yeah, higher consciousness.
That's really cool. And I guess it was originally designed to be neutrality, right? So that people could experience kind of both.
He's saying we all come from neutrality.
Right, right.
Even him in the role he's playing at the moment, he's originally a light being.
Okay.
It's a role that soul is playing. So it's a soul. He's saying yes, he is a living soul.
What does he represent in our lore or our human consciousness? How would we relate to this being that we're talking to now? Is it something we're familiar with in some way?
Wow. He's shown me a few images. He's showing me like a running shadow under a light post at night. Like a running shadow, but with no man, just a shadow. So he represents some kind of dark consciousness, dark energies on this planet.
Maybe like the Darkness Collective type of a thing?
Something in relation to the night. But see, the Hope is saying even the word night is misconception.
Right.
It's, look, they're showing light, fright, right, night, light.
Fight, fright,
sight. Yeah. It was all built to keep us in low density for as long as possible.
Okay. So he's been used and manipulated just like the rest of us.
He's saying that he's part of one of the most complicated, the most complicated system that this kind of super consciousness can offer. So he's proud of it. I can't say proud, but he's I guess I can say proud. Yeah, he's proud of it. He's playing his role the right way.
Oh, good. Okay.
He's saying enough. He's leaving.
All right. Thank you for coming by. We appreciate you.
He says, see, there's nothing wrong with darkness.
Yeah, nobody got hurt here today, right?
He sent, when he left, he sent a kiss to Hope.
Oh.
She smiled, but with a small sarcasm, I should say. Like, yeah, you're a funny guy. You're so that was cool.
All right, so I just want to take a moment here, Patrick. Let's just bring the energies down a little bit. I feel like we're getting a little distortion in our connection because we're both getting too excited and happy. So let's just mellow out, relax, release, allow. Let's see who else is there that wants to talk to us today, that wanted to give us a message before I start asking more questions. Feels like there's an agenda for us today, and I don't want to go too far away from that agenda.
There, I can see both. There was some. At first, I thought that they were like guards, but far in the corner of the room, there's a row of beings standing up. They're gold. They have something in the, well, on the left side, it's in the left hand, and on the right side, they have it in the right hand. It's like a long stick. There's something at the end of the stick. Everything is gold. The whole being is gold. I'm gonna move up and try to see. Hope is laughing. Hope is having fun.
Right, because everything's so new and strange to us, right?
Yeah, she likes to see our reactions, I guess.
We're like, what? Huh?
They seem like metallic. They're gatekeepers.
Okay. Gatekeepers to what?
They keep the field of consciousness in place. So it's some type of conscient being that is holding that space for her consciousness or something. So they're kind of her Bella light.
Oh, okay.
Kind of
this is why she seems so solid today.
She's saying because I'm getting better at this.
Oh, okay. Okay. So maybe those beings were here every time, but we just didn't notice them before.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
And she's saying just like because I'm getting better at it, she's saying we're going to start meeting different type of beings, and it's something new.
Let's have fun.
She's saying we're some of the first ones that will meet these type of beings. It will expand our consciousness to new realities, to new conceptions of reality.
Yay! Okay. That's super exciting. I can't wait.
She will introduce, she's the one that did introduce that being to us, to Bella Light and us. She said to that being that we could see it, or we could connect with it. And she will keep doing this because she knows I like this type of thing. I've asked for this before.
Right?
I've asked many times for her to show me alien races and stuff like that, and she said that it wasn't really time because there were other things we had to get through before. Right. I had to understand the conception of the universe, and now she's saying that I understand it, but there's still fear attached to my belief. And once I get rid of those kind of fear or hesitation or something like that, once I get rid of that, I will see clearly. I will know what's happening.
Yeah, and then what you're going to realize is that in this room that you're staying in right now, if you look around it, it's super, super full. A lot more stuff in that room right now than we know about.
And she's saying, yes, it's unlimited. There's so much life around that we're not ready to see everything yet.
Okay. That's pretty cool. Now, those gold beans, is there something that they want to talk to you about or teach you? Why they got some have a staff in the left hand, some have it in the right hand?
She's showing me some type of a being that is some kind of a space giant. It's got the shape of a Medusa, like you know a jellyfish when it swims in the ocean with the round head with the tail, like, but it's more like the round head and the body of a caterpillar.
Interesting.
But going smaller. Kind of a mix between a caterpillar, a snake, a Medusa, and it's all translucent, and it goes in space. It's a space being. It's a light being,
Mm-hmm.
and it transfers energy.
Right, can you imagine how many people would be terrified by seeing such a thing? Right.
Yeah,
This is why we are the first.
saying exactly.
Yeah.
And she will be showing us more and more. And if we want to know what they do, but and all this, she can explain it in details.
Oh, great. So, what is the purpose of this particular thing that we're looking at now? What does it do?
It's some type of a, I'm gonna call it a mega energy towing or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It can move around big amounts of monatomic light energy,
Mm-hmm.
or very, very tiny particles of light or radiations or stuff like that. It has the job to move it around,
Mm-hmm.
to maybe to bring some energy from one dimension to the other, to another one or something like that.
So, is this being playing some role in the ascension of our solar system?
She says that on this planet, this animal would be seen as an elephant or something like that.
Oh.
That can carry big chunks of energy, big trees, or big a natural form of consciousness that can be used to move energy around.
Oh, okay. So when it incarnates or manifests on somewhere as low density as Earth, it wouldn't look like it looks now, just like the plants don't look like they look now. When you come down to Earth, you kind of get changed and altered a little bit.
You know, she's saying that gigantic light beings uses that form of life to build, to create with. They work in co-creation with that being. That being can move around unbelievable amounts of energies or light to, let's say that they want to create a material world and they need more energy on that material plane to create something or whatever. Well, that being can be used to bring some very big energy, like a lot of energy from the sun or something like that. Bring it down to the plane of to the physical plane, and create with them or something like that.
Right. This kind of reminds me of the beings that we call the rose quartz Madonnas, where they have to, if they ever wanted to incarnate on Earth, they have to be a dolphin first before they could be a human. And the dolphins are holding very high energy that allows everything else to kind of evolve. Is it a similar concept?
She's saying that what you're talking about is belief history or something like that.
Right. What about whales? Are they similar? Would they be used in a similar manner of holding high energy for a being like this thing we just saw?
She's saying that whales are extremely smart beings.
Mm-hmm.
They're also stuck in lower density.
Mm-hmm. I heard that whales can remember.
Wow. They are here to hold a lot of consciousness. The whales, they're really necessary, but they are seen as enemies of the governments or something like that.
Because they know they hold the higher consciousness.
They are being kept in misery also. They're being chased and they're being harmed with sonic waves or something.
Yeah. From under the ocean.
Yeah. They are kept bombarded with those waves. They're kept in constant fear. Mm-hmm. For the same reasons they're doing it with us, because the waves could raise the vibration of the planet, so they're doing it to the whales also. They don't want the whales to raise the vibrations of humans, so they do it to the whales the same way they do the same things they do to humans, and to the dolphins and
Right,
to
'cause
every being.
yeah, because the dolphins are basically the same as the whales. They're just kind of a smaller version, right?
Yeah, they're saying that these beings are very strong beings to raise the vibration, to hold high vibration, and that's why their numbers have been brought to so little individuals. Even she's showing me even races of whales that have been not completely, but most are extinct.
I'm sure they would be extinct if we could have figured out how to do it by now, right? I think the ones that are still living are just kind of got lucky, I'm guessing.
She's saying that my body is starting to do fever again, or to build some heat again. We're gonna have to stop. So
Okay. Um, just a minute. Let me see if there's any real important questions I want to get in as well. Then I heard there's been 3 great floods on Earth. Is that right? Or have there been any?
she's saying that and if we go on too long, I will forget the whole session.
Okay. All right. Well, then I guess that's so that's a wrap. Then, is there anything else you wanted to say to us before we go?
She's saying that she really, really loves this session.
Hmm.
She's saying that it's starting to be more and more interesting for her.
Oh,
Because
good.
the interactions it's getting clear for her.
Oh, okay.
And I'm getting better at this, so
Uh-huh.
she can see me better, because I guess she's having a hard time to see me, or
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
they know I'm in front of them, but I guess they're not seeing me physically like we see each other. Yeah,
Right.
that's it.
They just feel your energy.
They see a little bit of it, but they know what I look like, so they can attach the image to the energies that are there. But
Mhm.
she prefers if she feels me.
Okay, that's
It's
wonderful.
so cool.
And is there anything else you'd like to tell us before we go?
Bella Light is giving me a hug. She's wrapping me up, and Hope is sending me a lot of love.
All right.
And thanks.
Yay. Well, we're
Thank you
so
so
happy to
much.
be here. Yes, we're so honored and pleased and just thankful that we get to take part in something like this and be shown the things we're being shown. We
I'm out
really
of
appreciate it.
I'm out of the diamond.
Okay.
It's super cool again, and my brain is cooling off. It feels really good again.
Okay. That's good. That's good.
It's strange how it gets so hot in there.
Hmm.
When that black being was there,
Hmm.
Bella Light is saying that she's heading back. She's heading home, her home.
Okay. Okay.
She's going back to the crystal cities.
Okay.
But yeah, that when that dark being was inside the diamond, it got really, really cool.
Hmm.
But as soon as it left, it
The heat
started to
went
get
right
hot
back up.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I feel like we could have gone off and done some other things too, but it just would have been such a distraction and so different than what we had done up there at Hope that it's like, why pile on a bunch more memories, for you to forget? But I felt like your body was holding up pretty good.
That's so
As
weird.
well.
When you were counting me out,
Hmm.
I woke up and I sat down in the bed, but not physically. I did it with just like
Right.
my light body, and then I realized, oh my God, I'm not back. I laid back and
Yeah, it's one of the things I really worry about, that I want to make sure that we always take a moment to do a little grounding before we leave and to make sure that we always come back to the right place, because I have noticed that it is a possibility for people to come back to the wrong place, like a different universe or a different timeline. like this is
Yeah.
possible when you're so far away that you might not actually.
Especially
Yeah.
that we live in a world where there's so much distortion, and we can't forget that there's always exceptions. So yes, you're right. There are risks of some things happening sometimes, but
Yeah.
we do take a lot of precautions, though.
Yes, but I just I just like to point out that's something that that I think is real important. Just to keep in mind.
Yeah, to all practitioners, they should always yeah,
Yeah.
make some kind of safety net or uh, guardian
Yes.
energies or something.
I've run across some of these people, and I call them a natural time travelers, where they're doing this stuff and they just don't know they're doing it, or they don't know how they're doing it. It's just natural to their DNA and their body, or maybe their mission that they came to Earth for.
My
And
God, is it already this time? We've been doing this for a while. I thought it was only like half an hour or an hour, so this was a lot
actually,
longer.
yeah, it seemed longer than I thought to me. Actually, now that I'm looking at the clock, yeah.
But it was so interesting. Wow.
Yeah, and boy, I just love the way that we can keep meeting new life forms that we would have never thought of. So many things. Sometimes it'll be like, oh, I would have never asked for that because I wouldn't have thought I was worthy of it or something like that. No, I would have never asked for that because I never even thought of it to ask for it.
And it's not something that a human could have conceptualized, because these beings look nothing like anything that exists on this planet. It's just unbelievable. How can it be living, that thing? It's just so crazy.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't need food or doesn't survive on anything that we think you would need to live.
So Hope said that she could do sessions with us where she could show us beings, and then we could ask questions about these beings, where they're from, what's the culture, what are they used for, or stuff like that. That'd be cool also. That'd be a lot of fun.
And then there was another thing that we were asking about that she was saying, I could tell you about that, but that would take a lot of sessions and it would be really in depth. I can't remember what we were asking about at that time. I'll remember when I go through and edit the video, but maybe you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay. Yeah, so there's something before that had happened, and she was saying, oh yeah, we could go into that too if you wanted, but it would be like you guys, maybe it's the same topic, I guess.
I just remembered the gardener. I got to go see this guy again. Wow.
Yeah, he said he'd be there whenever you go to meditate in your garden.
Oh, yeah.
I really liked the information that guy had too, and it was very easy to understand.
Oh man, you should have seen that garden. It was so beautiful. And there were these little plants about 3 feet high. Well, plants or animals, leafy animals, I guess.
Planimals?
Yeah, planimals. No eyes, no mouth, but they were feeding by leaves, but by I guess feeding by light.
Right.
But they had legs, like almost like animal legs. There was skin on the branches, and they could move really, really slow, but we're moving.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
You know what? It reminded me of the way, like, let's say you've got a sunflower and the sun comes up over here and the sunflower can turn, but you can never see him do this, but you'll just come back at night and it's facing this way, right? Because the sun's over there now. And so you know that these plants can do all this stuff. They don't have muscles. I don't know how they fucking do it, but yeah, I know that they can move.
Oh yeah, of course they can. Sometimes it will take only like 15 minutes for if you play a trick to a sunflower, you turn it around in a sunny day, it will turn around in like 15-20 minutes sometimes.
Oh, I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Oh yeah, it's that fast.
Hey, give me a second. I'll be right back. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. No problem.
All right, that's better.
So I forgot. I don't know if I told you in the session, but that gardener was playing music to the plants when I got there when I was on my
Yeah.
way.
You did mention something about music at one point that would help them to grow, or in singing to them. Also, you said something about that as well.
And that's so, man, that was quite a session. That's unbelievable. The images I got in my mind, I wish I could share it with the world. It's so wow.
I said, "Can you draw this, Patrick?" You were like, "No, I couldn't even do it if I had the neatest system on a computer."
Yeah. Yeah, that mirror reflection triangular being was the being is not triangular. It's just if you would take a triangular, very sharp mirror pyramid, you would turn it upside down. You'd be looking inside.
Mhm.
The reflection of that being was like inner, uh, inner viewing, but just specks, triangular specks in it. Like it's. I don't know. I'm gonna try to draw something
Well, you know,
because I know it sounds crazy, just like that.
one thing that kind of got answered for me was I was talking to this girl late last night, and she was asking me. She's like, if dolphins are such a high vibrating creature, how come they're the only animal on the planet other than humans that can rape things? Like, I guess dolphins just go around screwing stuff that wasn't expecting to get screwed by them or
Well,
something.
they're not the only one. Monkeys can do it also.
Okay.
There's a few more mammals that can do this.
Yeah.
Not prairie dogs or something like that.
Yeah.
There's a few mammals that do it. I know a lot of monkeys do it.
So it's a mammal thing then, really, is what we're
Yeah.
saying. Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause what I was feeling is that,
especially. Now look at lions. Lions do it all the time. They'll kill the male and they'll rape all the female of the
oh
group
yeah,
and they'll kill
yeah,
the babies and everything.
yep, to bring the female back into heat.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
it's a survival instinctual ego thing.
well, I was thinking that part of it with the dolphins, anyways, is because of the underwater, the sound waves they're putting out there that keeps them in that state of lower vibration, right? Because they would raise the vibration of the planet, as I was
Don't
guessing.
forget what we've been told before. Every race that is on this field of consciousness has a representative on the dark side and the bright side. Not meaning it's mean or anything, but one is in ignorance. It doesn't know what it is. It doesn't know how to act. It doesn't know how to behave.
Mhm.
It just behaves on instinct and ego. And the other one is aware of itself. It knows it can't do stuff like that. So it doesn't do any.
Interesting.
So those are the difference between the levels of that existence. It's the same existence. It's the same thing, like you said. Love and hate are the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Or adoration and hate are the same thing. It's both love.
Well, you know what
But
we really learned today, if at least for me, the main overriding thing that I learned is that everything on Earth comes from somewhere else and looks way different at its original place, in its original density. Because it lowers and lowers and lowers and lowers, and all of a sudden this tree loses its skin and it turns into bark, and then it loses its feet and they turn into roots. And I mean, as you lower in density, it actually affects the way that you look and interact with the universe that you're now a part of.
yeah, I could feel in the gardener when I was speaking with him that he would see his earth garden as almost as a scary thing now that he's aware of the garden that was in front of him.
Mhm.
He sees earth plants almost as a scary thing, almost as like they've been turned into monsters.
Right?
You guys have to stop that.
And how? Yeah, because of the GMO shit, right?
Uh,
And how about this thing that they were talking about? Like, oh, he was showing you the steps form of gardening, where the water comes
Oh,
down
wow.
and it stops at the bottom, and the leaves from this level fertilize the level below it, and it was all this kind of a cohesive, could have been in an indoor thing, actually, I think it was too.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's indoors or outdoors. It's the same
Yeah.
system. You use plants that feed on other plants and bugs that will eat certain. Um, there's levels of density in the atmosphere, and if you look at the canopy in the Amazon, there are plants at the top and insects at the top and others at the bottom.